The Chief Justice of Egypt's Supreme Constitutional Court was sworn in Thursday as the nation's interim president, taking over hours after the military ousted the Islamist president Mohamed Morsi. Tahrir Square appears sleepy and calm this morning, but it was a different story last night as many Egyptians celebrated the military overthrow of President Mohamed Morsi. Today, the work of replacing him begins. Adli Mansour, the head of Egypt's Supreme Court, was sworn in this morning as the interim president until new elections can be held. He said, "We salute the great Egyptian armed forces. They have never hesitated to respond to the needs of the people." The Egyptian military is holding Morsi and many of his Muslim Brotherhood supporters, and it has soldiers and armored vehicles in the streets to keep the peace. But there has been some violence with more than a dozen deaths. The White House is closely monitoring the situation. President Obama said he was deeply concerned about the Egyptian army's decision to oust Morsi. Some of the president's top advisors arrived at the White House Wednesday evening to discuss the situation. Egyptian military leaders assured the U.S. that a civilian government would take over quickly. America has budgeted $1.3 billion of aid for Egypt this year, with the majority of that money supporting the military. Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy, head of the committee that oversees foreign aid, says the U.S. should not send another dime. So far, President Obama has been reluctant to call this a coup. And for more on President Morsi's ouster, our guest is Egyptian blogger Aisha Charves. She's reported extensively on the growing tensions in Egypt and joins us right now from Cairo. Erica, thank you for being with us today. Some of the images that we are seeing out of Cairo are just amazing. Tens of thousands of people out on the streets, reports of more than a dozen people killed. Can you give us a sense of what the environment and mood is like now?
Thank you for having me. Right now, it's kind of calmed down since last night. As you can see behind me, the streets are full. A lot of people had to work today because of everything last night. People were out until 7 o'clock in the morning. So today it's starting kind of sleepy. Things are getting back to normal. Businesses are opening. People are planning their weddings again, planning their life. And they're hoping for the best in the future, and they've accepted what the Army's done by and large.
It seems remarkable, Erica. You talk about people planning their weddings. They're going on about their daily lives. Can you then clarify for us why there is this comfort when an ouster of a president has just taken place, and the military is now the entity that is, for lack of a better word, keeping the peace?
I think there's a two-part answer to that. The first is that they've been down this road before. Here we are 1 year after Morsi was sworn in, and the last president before him, Hosni Mubarak, was overthrown. There was 1 year of military rule in the middle. That's not new to people. The second part of the answer is that people really trust the military. The military is the most trusted institution in Egypt. When they do surveys, people give their confidence to the military, that they believe that they will back the people, which they did in this case, and they trust them to make decisions that the people in general will approve of. It's a conscript army, so people view the army as their family, their brothers, their uncles, their cousins have served in the military. There's signs everywhere all over Cairo saying the army and the people are one hand. So people view them as having their interests in mind more so than an elected president from one group or another.
Erica, we've heard President Obama stop short of calling this a military coup, and of course we cannot deny the billions of dollars at stake when it comes to U.S. aid to Egypt. Can you give us a sense as to what the perception is of the U.S. and the West in general, given these latest developments? If you could just briefly give me that, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Erica.
Sure. In the last couple of weeks, there's been sort of a distrust placed on the West. Everyone's group, whether it was the opposition or the Muslim Brotherhood, said that the West was supporting the other organization and that they were trying to cause trouble in Egypt. It's still kind of seen as, oh, they're meddling. People don't really realize the large amount that's at stake of money and aid from the U.S., or perhaps they're not as concerned with it as people in politics would be. The average person on the street doesn't see it as an important thing, as more important than perhaps their pride.
And Erica Aisha Charves joining us live via Skype from Cairo. Thank you very much for your insight and analysis, and please stay safe there. In other